Welcome to another episode of The Art Patient. Today I'm going to be talking about the vortex heart. Probably a theory you've never heard of, and one you may wish to know about, because you've always been led to believe your heart is a pump. The vortex heart theory, well, more factual, dismisses the idea of your heart being a pump. I totally agree with this. Before I carry on and move into this, I'd like to thank you, the new subscribers. Thank you very, very much for subscribing. Tell all your friends, share the videos. That's what they're for. They're there to help people. And if you know anyone with ill health, by all means, tell them to watch the videos. Like I say, the information is no good up here, is it? The information is just no good up there. Okay guys, let's carry on. In early Victorian days, surgeons thought that heart was a pump. They associated everything with steam engines, as they would, because steam engines were the technology of the day. So the heart always was looked upon as a pump to pump the blood. It turns out that the way the medical system works, guys, is there's a lot of dogmatism there. Once a professor has said something, and once it's been written in books, they don't like change, because everything, people don't like change. The people who benefit from all the drugs and all the companies who make drugs, pharmaceutical cartels and that, a lot of their professors are fools, see. So you probably would not have heard of the vortex art, which I'm going to introduce you to now. Going back to the art as a pump, we know the art can't work as a pump, right? Because the pressures involved, the pumping of the blood, I'll come on to the blood in a minute, the movement of the blood, of viscose fluid, 50, some people say 25,000 miles, some people say 60,000 miles. It's one of them. You don't know how many arterioles and venules and lymphatic system. You don't know how much of that's in you, right, for definite. I don't know how they measure it. I've come across many figures in my research. It's from around the world, which would be 25,000 miles to 60,000 miles, twice around the world roughly. But you can see a little muscle the size of your fist is going to pump a viscose fluid, a sugary fluid with all the other junk you've eaten inside of it, 50,000 miles. If you say that to an engineer and get him to build a pump, the pump would be the size of the Empire State Building. For that reason alone, we know something else is going on with the art. There's something else moving, okay? There's something else. That would be equivalent in mechanics. That's equivalent of a 10-pound weight being moved, right, a mile into the air from a muscle the size of your fist, okay? You can see the mechanics and the grasp of the situation here, guys. I hope you can. Okay, now we come on to the only way to do that is with a vortex. Okay, the heart is an organ of perception. Okay, it's never spoken as such. You have to go back in history to find this, right? It's how you perceive people. You perceive people when you've got your heart open. You perceive people with it, and then your thoughts act on the perception from the heart, okay? The heart is an electromagnetic frequency oscillator. That's actually what it's doing. Now, you cannot see that because it's an aura, okay? You cannot see it. Now, the frequency, the electromagnetism, the toroidal field can be measured up to 10 feet around me, okay? It's a bit like the old commercial, if you've ever seen it, for I think it was Porridge or Ready Breck. It was one or the other, where the guy walks down the street with a big glow around it. That's the field I'm on about. The electromagnetic frequency is what I'm on about. Okay? So the mechanics of the heart, there's got to be something else at play to move a viscose fluid 30 to 60,000 miles. Okay? So we can discount the heart being a pump. Furthermore, the blood is already moving. The blood's moving in a vortex. If you ever see the tornadoes through Tornado Alley in America, that's how the blood's moving. The blood is moving in a vortex within a vortex. Doppler images show this, okay? It has the smaller red blood cells are on the outside, and the larger ones and other particles are on the inside, okay? And they're moving themselves. They're generating an EMF field themselves, okay? Now, the whole idea of the heart producing an electromagnetic frequency oscillation, okay? It's braiding your DNA, okay? That's what your heart does, okay? Your heart braids DNA. It's actually making DNA. That's why it's so important to be in high vibratory states of love, joy and bliss, okay? If you're in, if we could say this, if you're in a state of fear or sadness, or you've just lost a loved one, okay, you won't be making as much DNA as you should be making, and you will be aging, okay? Because the soul, the heart makes the soul. It makes all the bits you can't see. Now, don't forget, you can only see 1% of the light spectrum. And if we look out the window now, I don't know whether the camera's picking up, all the colours around me, okay? Take this colour for instance, it's only orange when it comes into the eyes. It's only orange when it comes into the eyes, guys, okay? The green you see on the leaves and the trees, right, all contain the Fibonacci sequence and the branching and the leaves, so maximum light, okay? There's fractal geometry going on, okay? You get this in the art as well. So a lot of what the art does, you cannot see. We always think of the heart, see, as just a muscle in your chest, right? What's really happening is there's a thymus gland in front of it. The heart is creating a sound wave. That distinctive sound is so important. That sound wave is full of information itself, and the heart's creating an electromagnetic frequency which is full of information itself, okay? And that frequency is generating DNA. It's like a knitting machine. It's braiding DNA, and it's all fractals and Fibonacci sequences. Okay, it's absolutely perfect in how it works, but it is not a pump. You know, we've got to get out. I think you always do better when you're researching things and you get out of this, you know, this dogmatism stuck in a Victorian era about steam engine and the heart being, the blood's already moving. How can I say that? Okay. When you examine the chicken, when you examine the chicken egg, right, as it's developing, the blood is already moving in the chicken fetus before the heart's developed. It's exactly the same in the child and the fetus. In fact, when a woman's carrying a fetus, okay, the electromagnetic frequency of the woman is influencing the fetal development. We live in a world of electromagnetic fields, but you can't see them. Okay, I'm going to talk in depth. I'm going to tell you some interesting stories about this in further episodes and explain how the heart contains memory. There's an awful amount of memory contained in your heart, and I'll tell you in the next sequence, in the next video, I'll tell you two stories. One includes me, and another includes a man from America, and it'll just blow you away.